talk about planning content. So, in this about 45 minutes session, I will take you through everything as to how, from the idea to execution of your content on social media. And a little bit about myself. I am a social media manager and also a freelance content writer. And yeah, that is my full time job too. Yes.
Okay, great. I guess we can start with the session. And my first question to you is, how can you explain like what's the topic for today and what's discussion we are going to do today? Like what audience can expect from today's session?
Okay. So, like I already mentioned, we're going to talk about content, social media content, but it can also be your, we will also be talking a little bit about blogs as well, right? So, we will talk about how we're going to use content, or how we're going to create content on different social media platforms without taking much time. Usually we're when we're like, okay, we are supposed to create content even for two platforms, where we go crazy. We're like, okay, how is that going to be possible? It's going to take a lot of time. And so that is something that I am going to help you out with, and tell you that how you can do this quickly for four platforms, in fact, not just one.
Okay. Rachita, what sound issues are you facing? Because I can hear Shikha clearly. Is there anyone else also who is facing any issues? I am audible to you, right, Shikha?
Yeah, you are audible to me. Is it my voice, Rachita? Can someone else also tell if they can hear the both of us properly? Oh, okay.
Maybe you can check your network connection once as well,
Yeah,
because it
yeah, hold
happens
on.
at time.
Can you hear me properly, Harshita?
Yes, yes. To me, you are perfectly audible since starting.
Okay, okay, great.
Okay. So yeah, moving towards the first question for the session. Before creating content, we have to decide which platform we should start building our profile on. So according to you, what's your take on which platforms to start with? Like a beginner, which platforms he or she can start with?
Right. So I'm glad you asked that question, because the first thing when it comes to creating content is you need to be very sure about which platform you are going to use to create content and market your content on, right? So say you are someone who is into fashion content, right? You can't really bring that up on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is mostly a B2B platform. So that if you're creating content around fashion, then mostly Instagram and YouTube or Facebook might be your go-to platform, right? So you need to be very careful about where your target audience is to choose your platform. So even when you look at the age demographics, right? So on Instagram we have people mostly from the age of 17, and from 17 to about 40-45, right? So most people from this age group are on Instagram. But similarly on Facebook there's a much more wider audience. Right now you won't see a lot of people below 20 or 25 or using Facebook a lot, but you will definitely see a lot of elderly people using Facebook. So that is one of the factors, according to which you are going to decide which platform should you create your content on. It has to be you need to have, you need to do certain research about each platform with regards to the age group of your target audience, the interests of your target audience. So always look at what target audience you are uh, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay.
Gayatri, I guess you can check your network once
Yeah.
because Shikha is audible to me.
Okay, so like I was saying, so just make sure what you know your where what your target audience are, like where are they located, and choose your platform accordingly. If that means you have to be there on 3 4 platforms, so be it. But you need to be where your target audience are.
Okay. So before we move towards the next question, I just want to tell everyone that we will be revealing a gift for everyone at the end of the session. So I just want to say that stay tuned for the last. And yes, moving towards the next question now. Uh, uh, or okay, we talked about which platform to decide. So, relating to the answer, what do you prefer between starting with multiple platforms at once, or first building a good profile on one platform and then switching to others?
Okay. So I would say start off with one or two minimum, right? And build your audience there, build a community there, and then take it to the other platforms as well. So, two of the most prominent platforms for your business or for your services or products that you provide, right? Based on that, which two platforms do you think most of your target audience are on, right? So go to more towards those two, and then probably scale to others. So for example, if you take my example, I am a service provider, right? So I provide social media services. I started off by putting out content on LinkedIn first. That's where I built my audience, my followers, and my target audience. Actually, I started getting a lot of my freelance clients only via LinkedIn first. And then I scaled to Instagram. I started doing the same content on Instagram after LinkedIn. And now I have recently scaled to Twitter as well. So you see how I started off with one platform and then I went ahead on different platforms. So because you're just starting out with content, you don't want to burden yourself with putting up a lot of different content on different platforms, uh, which I know is basically what we're going to talk about now. But I'm just saying that in the beginning you might want to start with one platform, see how that platform works, and then go ahead and scale on to the others.
Right. Because in the starting, we should we need more research and more concentration on one platform and one niche so that we can understand things and then implement it accordingly. If we take up
Yeah.
multiple things at the start, so we will be overwhelmed and nothing would work in that case.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you will notice that most of these social media platforms are a little bit like each other. Actually, mostly like each other, right? So, what works on one platform, yes, it might not work on another platforms, but the fundamentals are the same for every platform. So, if you get familiar with one and apply those to other platforms as well, it works perfectly. I'll give you another example. Like when I started off with LinkedIn, I also started engaging, not just posting content, but I was also engaging with other people's content, right? And showing up every day, leaving comments, liking posts, following other people in my niche, etc. So all of these fundamentals are basically the same for every other platform, right? Content might differ in terms of videos or graphics, etc. But your fundamentals are basically the same throughout all social media platforms.
Right. So, also, Shika, can we take up the audience question side by side and then we can move
Uh,
forward?
yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. So Bhagyashree asks, mental health, wellness, and environment, which are the best platforms for these niches?
Okay, so there is no platform for one niche. You would, like I mentioned, you have to see your target audience's demographics. By that, I mean what age group is your target audience. So, mental health, you can probably target people who are, I don't know, senior citizens, or probably who are people in their adulthood about 18, or you could also target people below 18, right? So these are, in one niche you have so many different target audiences, so choose your target audience with in each niche, and see where do you want them to be from, like which country or which part of the country, which city of the country, right? So take the demographics that way, their age, the country, and also a lot of other factors do come in, right? So if you are targeting people who are probably below who probably work in the rural areas, their mental health, right, their wellness and the environment in rural areas. So what platforms are they using? They might not be on Twitter, but they might be on Facebook, right? So you need to first come up with who your target audience is, and then research about what platform has what kind of audience, and then choose your platform. I hope that was clear, Bhagya Shri.
Yeah, please let us know if the answer was clear. Moving forward to next question. I have two products for which I have to create content. Should I have a separate content calendar? Stanley asked this question.
So it depends. Do you have, if you have two products, are they the, do you have two profiles as well, right? Two accounts as well, two separate accounts for these two products. If you have two separate accounts for these two products, then you definitely need to have separate content calendars, right? So content calendars will depend on what platforms you are on, right? Sorry, how many accounts do you have? If you have two accounts, then you'll have two content calendars, and for each of these accounts you will have one for YouTube, one for wherever, whichever platform you are present on, right? So it depends on that. So and if these two products are related, and if these two products come under the same niche, then it makes no sense for you to have two different accounts, right? So just have one account if the two products are under the same niche, and content calendars will depend on the number of accounts you have.
Okay, I hope it answers your question. Uma asks, how can I get customers to write content? I'm a freelance content writer, but I don't know how to approach.
You are a content writer and you want
Basically, clients, how to approach them.
okay, okay, fine, understood. So how do you approach clients so they give you content writing work, right? Am I understanding that right?
Right, right, Shika, right.
Okay, fine. So, I started off with LinkedIn. I started putting out content on LinkedIn, and so I was just writing stuff on LinkedIn about content writing and about blogs, about putting out content on different social media platforms. And when I started doing that, and I also had it in my LinkedIn headline that I am a freelance content writer, and I started for connecting with people who are content writers, and I also started connecting with my target audience who then were small business owners, founders, etc., right? So once I started doing all of these things, I started getting inbound leads. I have actually never done outbound leads, which basically means cold emailing, or sending all these people messages on LinkedIn, so they can give me some content writing work. I haven't really done that, but because I haven't had the need to do that, because I have been getting inbound clients all the time. So you can also try doing that, and then do that with every platform. If you are on LinkedIn, then do that on LinkedIn. If you are on Instagram, do the same on Instagram. You will definitely see a lot of change in how you start getting client prospects.
Right, LinkedIn is one of the best platform.
Truly. Do you want to continue with the questions, or do you want to take up the questions from the chat right now only? Because I think these questions won't stop. We can take them up
Right.
in the end.
We can go forward with the particular topic for the session first, and then we can take
Sure.
up the audience questions. Okay, so my next
Definitely.
question is how to gather content ideas for social media content, and what's your personal procedure for the same?
Okay. So, I my personal procedure is honestly not very structured, right? So whenever I come up, I just look. I'm scrolling through Instagram or any other platform. Whenever I see some different, a way of doing reels differently, then I probably save that under, I have these collections on my Instagram saves. So one is for reels, one is for make content on this, one is for inspiration, right? So I have these saved collections on my Instagram. So if I come across a reel that is different and I want to try the same, then I will save that in one of these collections. Other ideas is just, by observing, consuming more content, having conversations with people. Like right now I'm having a conversation with all of you, so I can make so much content just by the questions that you guys are asking me, right? So all of these are ways for people to come up with content ideas. So, and the more you consume, you will definitely get a lot of ideas. Like I read a lot of books also around content creation, around personal branding, right? So you will see so many these books have so many fundamental things, like basic things, and that is what will make your content stand out. As much as, there's an irony here, but if you give out the most basic content on your profile to, so that people know the fundamentals, that's what will actually make your content stand out. So whenever I get these ideas, randomly anywhere, like even when I'm about to sleep, I get like so many ideas. So I just note this down. Even if I just have my phone, just take it out, just open the notes app and just write it down. So initially I wasn't doing this. I wasn't actually writing it down. I was like, okay, now I remember it, so I will just write it down the next year when I'm actually sitting and doing content. But now I make it a point that whenever I get an idea, I write it down, right? So that. And about actually how the process is for me. So every so if I start creating content on the first of the month, then the second last week of this month, so that is the second last week of June, is where I will structure all of these content ideas I've had over the past 1 month, right? I will put them down in a sheet. Like, okay, this month, the coming month, I want to focus on all of these ideas that I had. So I will list them down in a content calendar or another sheet, and then that'll happen in the second last week of June, right? And that on the second last week of June, I will again sit and write the content for this. So that means I will write the content that will either go on the video or on the creative that I have to make for that idea, right? So that content will be put up in the second last week of June. Then in the second week of June is where I will actually record the content if it is a video, and or I will design the creatives if it's a creative, if it's a static image, right? And then in the last week of June, I will also write the captions for all of these content pieces that are going to go out in the next month. So this way, before 1st of July, I have all my content ready. I have my content topics, I have my content that goes up on the graphics or on the video, and then I have the content that goes up in the captions. And about the hashtags, I always change my hashtags for every post, but all these posts have they have the same like I have a hashtag sheet. So in this hashtag sheet, I have like a full hashtag bank, right? So it's a bank of so many hashtags in one sheet. So I just take hashtags from these sheets and put up in put it, make a combination of 30 hashtags and put it in each post. So now I have everything ready. I have the content topic, I have the content for the graphics, I have the content for caption, I have the content for hashtag. Sorry, I have the hashtag, right? So the only thing I have to do is I have to either manually post them or I have to schedule them. So this is the process that I follow for my content creation. So now this is for one platform, right? Say for example, this is for Instagram. Now how am I going to do the same thing for say other 2 3 platforms? It could be Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or blogs, or Twitter, right? So now if I have made a whole content calendar for say Instagram, right? What I will do for LinkedIn is I will use the same caption for LinkedIn, and I will probably tweak it here and there, maybe in terms of the call to action, and the hashtags, of course, will change for LinkedIn as well. Now it depends on LinkedIn if I want to put a graphic or if I want to put a video, right? So if on LinkedIn, probably for one post that I'm putting on Instagram, which is a video, I might not put the same thing on LinkedIn, but I will turn the content that was there in the video into a text for LinkedIn post, right? So that's how I repurpose the content from Instagram to LinkedIn. So this way I don't have to come up with new ideas for LinkedIn. It's the same idea, I'm just putting it across in different ways in two different platforms, for Instagram and for LinkedIn. Now if I have to put the same thing on Twitter, again the content idea will remain the same. Suppose I'm talking about four tools to use to find hashtags on, right? So I have made a huge Instagram post about it, probably a reel about it, right? And now for LinkedIn, the same thing. I am whatever I have spoken in the reel, I will put that in the text form on LinkedIn, right? And for Twitter, what I will do is I will write a very short post, because Twitter allows only 280 characters, right? So in those 280 characters, I will actually tell them what these hashtag tools are. So if on Instagram and LinkedIn I'm giving them 10 hashtag tools, on Twitter I will give them 3 or 4 because of the character limit, and I will also add hashtags. And now on Twitter again the hashtags will change, right? And that's how you basically repurpose one content idea for all different platforms. So you need to keep in mind what kind of content actually works better in which platform. So a reel might work very well for Instagram, but not so well on LinkedIn, right? And no, probably not so well on Twitter as well. So you have to just basically take the same content idea and repurpose it for different platforms, and this is how I do it. So I hope that was elaborate enough.
Right. Thank you so much for the long answer, and it actually cleared the whole process of content creation. Just adding to it, I have seen
Yeah,
people like who make tweets or tweet like what we say Twitter threads. They repurpose the same content on Instagram or on LinkedIn by taking the screenshot of that tweet and then
yeah,
putting a different background around it and a different caption to it. So I guess
yeah,
that's a new thing to get. Not new maybe, but yeah, that's another uh,
yeah, yeah,
way to repurpose
definitely.
content.
Yeah, so another thing you can also do is, so if you're making carousels for Instagram, right? Obviously, you are not putting a lot of content on these images for each carousel slide, right? So what you can do it, you can turn that into a thread for Twitter, right? So each whatever content goes on each of your carousel can be one tweet, and it could be turned into a whole Twitter thread. Yeah,
Right.
and
Because
obviously you can take sorry, yeah.
I was just saying because Instagram has more of visual appealing, so you can prepare a carousel with images and things around it. But yeah, on Twitter you can simply use those words in Twitter threads, so that will
Yeah,
be different points altogether.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So my next question to you is, what platform do you use to make your content calendar, and for how long it is actually made. For how long by mean, like, should we make a week long calendar at once or a month long calendar at once, or how it actually works?
Okay, so I make my content calendar on Google Sheets, because it's very
It's
easy.
very
Like you, yeah, you know what you want in your columns, you know what you want in your rows, etc. Right? It's also easier for my clients to understand, so that's why I use Google Sheets. Previously, I also, I did one experiment where I did it on Notion, but it was a little difficult to understand, like for my clients, so I switched back to Google Sheets. So Google Sheets is very basic and very simple, and everyone knows how to use it. So that's why I go ahead and do it on Google Sheets. And you guys can try Notion. Trello is also really good. In fact, they have a template. You don't have to sit and make the content calendar for Trello. Like they themselves have a template for content calendar, but I think you have to pay for it. I'm not sure. It might be free, but yeah, you guys can Google it and know, right? So that, and I make my content calendar for one whole month for myself and for my clients, right? But again, it depends on you. So if you think that you want to do, you want to be up with the trends, right? You want to keep up with the trends. So probably what works today might not work 30 days from today, right? So you can either keep your content flexible that way. Like probably you write all the content and key, but you actually record or make the designs only every weekly, right? So weekly you can sit and actually make the designs for your graphics, or you can record the reels or videos or whatever, right? So you can keep the content ready but make these weekly. So you could do that as well if you want to, stay keep up with the trends. This is what I do for my clients. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So before we take any more questions, I have a question that relates to it. Why does client need to see your content calendar? So Bhagyashree, basically, once you answered it by yourself, that clients, the content calendar we are talking about is firstly for the clients when they ask for the social media content, for you to prepare the content and post it timely. So that is what we are talking about. And secondly, it's for your own social media platforms as well. Because what I think that before clients give you work, you should work for yourself, so that you have something to show to the client, some results, and some content that you are currently creating. So firstly, when you are in habit of creating content and content calendars, so it will be easier for you to work with clients in the same manner. Am I right, Shika?
Yep. Yes, absolutely. Very well said.
Okay. So the last question I had this, once we have created content, so how you proceed with publishing them, like publishing in a content scheduling app, or publishing them manually whenever you want.
Right. Okay. So for myself, I like scheduling the posts that are, graphics related, like the ones that don't have videos going up. So I schedule those posts for myself and for my clients as well. If I schedule them, if so sometimes what happens is I need content from their end, like I might need images or videos from them, right? So sometimes they're late, right? So if I am not able to schedule it, I do it manually, but mostly I schedule it. I use Facebook Creator Studio to schedule posts on Instagram and Facebook, and for LinkedIn I use Publer. So that, I'll just type it down here. It's called publer.io. So you can schedule single image posts on this app. I mean, it's a website, so you can do that for free on Publer for one account. So that's for 30 days. You can get it for free. So yeah, it's very helpful, and So I use that for LinkedIn, and I told you about Instagram, and yeah, Twitter. I don't actually schedule my content yet. Twitter, I just post. And Twitter is more like, okay, whenever a thought strikes, I'm going to type it down. Twitter is just, I haven't been taking it seriously. Like I am obviously taking it seriously, but what I mean is like the content there is very momentful. Like it just happens at the moment. It's never like, scheduled for in like I don't write Twitter content a month ago and do it. So I have to work on that. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, this is how I do it. And if it's right or wrong, so I've heard a lot of people say that if you schedule your content, the reach goes low. But I haven't experienced that myself for my profiles and for my clients profiles as well. So I don't believe in that. But one thing I did notice for schedule on these scheduling apps is that it reduces the quality of your image when you upload it, especially through Facebook Creator Studio. So one of my clients was a makeup artist, and she is very particular about how detailed all these looks. All these image ka looks look like, right? Because everyone zooms in and sees how the makeup is done. So she needed particular quality of the image. But when I actually scheduled it through Facebook Studio Creator Studio, the quality reduced. So probably if you are going to put up if you're working for clients who are very very particular about their image quality, then don't schedule them.
Okay. So that was all the questions I had. Thank you so much, Shikha. And now I guess we can move towards the audience questions. And
Yes.
okay,
Okay, so we
Pratham.
answered. Yeah, Pratham's question was, which platform will be best for finance and cryptocurrency niche? Um, so I have seen a lot of content around cryptocurrency and finance on Twitter. A lot of forums on Twitter, they talk about all of this, right? So you can definitely, I mean, if you're looking to follow people around this niche, then you can follow. But you can also create on Twitter. A lot of people do that, and Instagram as well. Actually, Instagram, LinkedIn also work really well for this niche. But again, like I said, you need to know your target audience, right? So who are you giving this knowledge to? Are you giving this knowledge to people who already know the basics of this, or are you giving the knowledge to people, giving away like basic knowledge and stuff, right? So make like a whole persona of your target audience. Who are your target audience, what age groups they are in, and then see your platforms, what which platform has the most people from the age group that you are targeting, and then start creating content around it. But I would definitely recommend Twitter and Instagram for it. Definitely, yeah.
Okay. Moving towards the next question.
Yeah. um
Connecting with the founders, how we can get the business from them.
Uh, so see, I was talking about myself when I said I was connected with founders, right? So my target audience was small business owners. So people on their LinkedIn profile put that they are founders at so and so company, and then you go check out the company. You'll know if they're they are small business owners, or if they are these huge corporations. So if they're small business owners, you can definitely connect with them on LinkedIn and send them a message, email them, or whatever it is, right? So that's how. I think we missed one question before that. Nikhil Khetan asked, I want to see other content writers work. I want to work with them, but writing is my hobby, not part time work. Okay, I don't see a question in that.
Right. So, Bhageshri asked which books are good for branding.
Okay, so there's this book called Building a Story Brand, and it's written by Donald Miller. Sorry.
No, no, you please continue.
Yeah, yeah. So, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller is definitely a great book for personal branding and stuff like that. So you can, that's the one that I recently read. So you can go ahead and read that book.
On
Yeah.
which platform should I post on apart from LinkedIn to find content writing clients?
Definitely Twitter and Instagram. On Twitter, there's a good number of chance that if you reach out to someone, the person is definitely going to reply to you, right? So if on Twitter you're creating content, again, like LinkedIn, just connect with your target audience. Who do you want to work for? If you want to work for say yoga instructors or personal trainers, etc., then you will connect more you will follow those people and just send them a message, etc., and then just start putting out your content so they see, okay, you're basically marketing yourself by putting up content, right? So yeah, Instagram and Twitter definitely, apart from LinkedIn.
Another question is, how frequently do we need to post?
It depends on your capacity to churn out content, and yeah, definitely platform as well. So when I say capacity to churn out content, so it totally depends on you, right? So if you think you can do one piece of content each day, great, go for it. If you think you can't do that much and it's a lot of work, then you can also put three content pieces each day, right? I think three would be minimum. Definitely anything less than three, it will give you results for sure, but it would be really slow, like your growth would be really slow. So three pieces of content on any platform I think makes sense. And if it's YouTube, then probably two. But from I don't have a lot of knowledge of YouTube as of now, but from what I've heard from my other friends who do YouTube, is that when you're beginning on YouTube, then you probably should be putting one video per day, and later on you can reduce that. But yeah, if you're on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, then definitely at least try to put 3 posts a week. Okay, so Drashti asks, I have started my own Insta page to promote my personal blog about a month ago. Okay, is it advisable to get a premium and paid version of Canva and Planoly? Okay, so for I have never used the paid version of Canva, and I've actually never used because my mentors and other people I know, they have advised me not to use it because they're like, it's probably it's you don't get a lot of change. But I have seen people using a lot of Canva premium features as well, which look great. Actually, anything related to design is not my forte. I do very little bit of designing, so myself. So about Canva, I can, from what I've heard, I can say you don't really need a Canva when you're starting out, or even if you are in intermediary stage, to actually design your posts, etc., like you can do with the other free tools as well. And for Planoly, I haven't used the paid version of Planoly. I did download it once to check out the app and how it does and everything, but I haven't really used Planoly. I don't use it for my clients as well, so I'm not sure. Drashti, I'm sorry.
Okay. So just adding to this, in the Canva, I guess you can make pretty good designs with the free version as well. And if you
Yeah.
want to have a premium, there is a thing called GitHub Student Developer Pack. So that can be, if you are a student, I'm not sure, but yeah, if you are a student, you can surely enroll for that, and in that you get a 1 year free subscription for Canva. So yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, for that you have to submit your college ID and everything. So if you are a student, you can definitely go for that way. And with Canva, you get many more things for free as well. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, great.
Any more question?
Um,
Yes, Prakash.
Bhagyashree's, I think we answered. Ha, Prakash. I'm a sommelier by profession and I wanted to start my own audience by providing sufficient wine knowledge in easy way. What do you think is the best place to start? Um, Again, choose your target audience and see which platform. So I think for someone who's interested in wine and stuff, and also keeping in mind that attractive pictures for this would look really good. So probably Instagram, because Instagram is a very visual space, right? So you can definitely start off on Instagram, and then also YouTube, and a little, and Twitter as well, right? So LinkedIn is more of a B2B platform and strictly professional stuff. So I'm don't think it would work much on LinkedIn. So definitely Instagram and YouTube and Twitter you must try. So yeah,
Shika,
I
I
hope
just
that
want to
answers
ask
your
that
question.
what does sommelier means?
I think it means someone who knows how to make a wine and all, like the detailed, uh, yeah, wine. So there are tea sommeliers as well, and then there are sommeliers for wine. Am I right, Prakash? I That's what I understood. Just let us know. Okay, Stanley asks what should be the split between content that is aimed at generating leads versus engagement. So, okay, so when you are generating, so when you're so I think I'm not sure if you guys know about this, but you need to keep your set your goals for every month on social media. Like if your goal is to if this month's goal is to strictly generate leads and not much focus on engagement, then it would definitely be 80 to 20, right? So if your goal for this month is to generate 10% more leads than the previous month, then definitely your split must be 80-20. But if you are focusing more on engagement, then it would be 80% on engagement and 20% on generating leads. But however, whatever your goal is, I would definitely recommend having 20% posts where you are promoting your services and or products, whatever it is, to generate leads, right? So every month have at least 20% of your posts where you are focusing on generating leads, irrespective of whatever your social media goal is for the month. How frequently should we post? I think I just
We have.
answered that.
Right, we discussed about that.
Yeah,
Next
yeah.
question is by Bhavna. If we are talking about beginners who have just started LinkedIn, what is liable time to actually liable time to actually start a Insta page for personal branding? Okay.
So you can start after, like, probably take a month, see how a month or two, to see how LinkedIn is working. And if you have the time in your hand to equally manage LinkedIn and Instagram together, then definitely go for it in the second month. But if you don't think you have that much time in your hand, then yeah, just start, wait for like 2 to 3 months, see what kind of results you're getting on LinkedIn, and in those 2 to 3 months, see the similar kind of page that the kind of page that you want to start. Find similar kind of pages on Instagram, observe those pages, see what they are doing, see what they are not doing, and how you can get inspired from them, and then have a plan, and then start off with your own Instagram page. Okay, so Nikhil asks, where should I start? I want to work for start with LinkedIn. Like I mentioned before, just start creating content on LinkedIn, connect with your followers, right? Sorry, connect with your target audience, do your engagement and everything. And yeah, I started there, and it gave me a good starting. So definitely LinkedIn. Hey, okay, Ananya says, can you tell me what type of content should I post on Instagram to find content writing clients? The same kind of content you would put up on other on LinkedIn, because you're basically going to target your target audience, right? Which is your founders or probably other people who you want to work for, right? So your content should be educational. It can be a mix of educational, right? So your content buckets could be educational, promoting, where you promote your services, showing your testimonials. Social proof is very important, and if you don't have testimonials, you could probably do like do it, show your blogs. If you have written blogs, if you are creating content for your own pages, your profile in itself acts as a portfolio, right? So if in a month you have gained like 100 followers or how many ever followers, and you think that's a good number of followers to gain in a period of 1 month, then that could be your credibility, right? So put these kind of posts, have a mix of educational posts, promotional posts, and testimonials. So I hope that answers your question. Uh, 3 per day. No, Bhageshri, I meant 3 per week. 3 per day would be insane. Okay, so
When I know
Nikhil,
a company that I
yeah,
was working, they were
okay,
publishing 12 pieces of content a day.
on different platforms, right?
No, on one platform,
Really? Which platform was that?
Instagram.
And did you see like good results out of it?
But with some videos, actually, that was platform who were creating content in form of videos more, what we say IGTVs or reels, and
Uh-huh.
one to two quote images per day.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, reels were playing good, but yeah, obviously, 12 pieces are more than required. So how would that
Yeah.
go for good for long
Yeah, I
even?
mean, you'll get the same result even if you post one post or say two, three posts a day. So,
But I guess quality matters more because
yeah,
they were also not
exactly.
creating any carousels or anything. So basically, they was not educating. They were just posting it, like taking clips and editing them a bit and then posting it around. So that was the thing.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a
Okay.
experience. Huh. How to get
Okay.
some templates for social media calendar? Any free sources available?
Yes, I will talk about that in some time. Okay, so Nikhil asks, experience would do. I am not looking for money and say I am newbie author. Where shall I launch my book? Okay, so never work for anyone for free. Even if you're just starting out, right? Don't do that. It's basically underselling yourself. So if someone came to me and told me that you want to work for free, like there have been times when people have messaged me and they're like they would work for me for free if they just got an experience, and I've always told them that I will definitely pay you, but if I have work I will give it to you and I will pay you even if you're just starting out. So never work for free. You are still taking some sort of load down from their mind. You are working for them, you're working with them, you're reducing their time, right? So definitely don't work for free. And yeah, probably you could do something like give them a 2-day trial for something like your services. It could be something like that. So if you're a social media manager, you could say you would probably manage their social media for a week for free, and then be like, then if you like it, then we could go ahead and give a great offer, right? But if never don't ever tell someone that you would work for them for free, right? I know you're looking for experience, probably you can work for a little less, but never work for free. And I am not sure about authors and where you should be launching. I'm sorry. Okay, so Drashti says I am not okay.
We
um
can move towards
okay,
the second
we
question. What is the perfect time to post on FB, Insta, and Twitter to increase chances of higher engagement?
so
Do
the
you have any
perfect
thoughts?
time, sorry.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, So the perfect time for posting on these platforms is what your insights on these platforms show you. So on Instagram, if you go to your profile and go to insights, it shows you at what time your followers are most active. So always post like 15 minutes before they are the most active, so that your content is shown to your followers when they come online, right? So that's for Instagram and Twitter and Facebook as well. I think Twitter and I'm not sure about Facebook, but Twitter definitely does not show you when your audience is most active. So what I have seen from my personal experience is that posting anytime in the morning around 10, between 10 to 12 works, and in the evening as well. So if you're just starting out, just try different timings and post and see when are the timings that you actually get a lot of, probably likes or engagement on your posts. So yeah, you can go ahead with that. Definitely experimenting, definitely. Even if I gave you one time, you shouldn't go with that one time. You should in fact experiment on your own and see what works well for your account, because what works for my account will not work for your account. And yeah, same goes for Facebook and any other you know platforms.
Okay, we have the last question, I guess, that how many reels are required per month to create a personal brand as a content writer?
There is no limit. I mean,
It depends
what
on your capacity of making the
yeah, I
reels.
mean, it depends. I could put out one reel a month. That reel might just blow up, it might just get like 1 million views. That one reel is enough for me to build my brand. But similarly, I can put 30 reels and still not reach that number, right? So your reach, again, your personal brand will build. You just have to keep putting out content, right? Keep putting out content in different ways. If you're consistent with putting out content, and you in your content you are showing your authority, that you know what you're talking about, your brand will build. So don't just keep this, don't ever have this mindset that if you put certain number of posts you'll build a personal brand. That's not how building a personal brand works. So yeah.
Okay, that was all the questions we had. We will wait for just 2 more minutes, and if anyone has any question, they can put it out. And by that time,
Okay,
I just want to
so
thank you, Shikha, for sparing your time and giving us so much of value around content and making content strategies and content calendar.
no, thank you, thank you. It was a pleasure doing this. And like we said, that we have a surprise